Three, and bam, let's go ahead and let's get it. All right. we
Oh
ran
my
we
gosh.
ran into some some technical difficulties. No big deal. You guys don't know about that timeline. Doesn't matter. Anyway, so me and Sam JVS we're about to dissect and review season 2 of The Flash. Sam, how's it going?
It's going good, Jarrell. How you doing today?
If you guys just don't know, in another timeline, we actually did this whole video already. Anyway, so yeah, I guess let's just go in and rip this bad boy to shreds. So, well, one of my favorite moments this season was when he forgave Harrison Wells, um, when he was talking to the Earth 2 version of him through the window, and he was telling him that like he forgave him. Well, I mean, he was really forgiving the Harrison Wells from before. I thought that was an incredibly deep moment for the show, and I also think that. Well, yeah, I guess I'll pause there. For you,
uh,
favorite Flash moments this season.
I don't know, man. Like I think that Barry. How do I say something different than I said before?
Yeah.
Barry in the beginning of the season, like he was ransacked with all this guilt. You know what I'm saying? For everything that happened. I mean, he felt guilt in the sense that he let his mother die again. He felt guilt because Ronnie died. He felt guilt for what happened to the city.
Hmm.
And I mean, he tried to push all his friends away, and to see what happened full circle for him to not only to embody himself and become faster, but to gain so much more with his relationship with Iris and with Cisco and with the new Harrison Wells. I think that Grant Gustin did an amazing job as far as his performance and his zeal, as well as his comedic timing, but more so than anything, his depth. He added different layers to Barry Allen that were never there before that I had seen from the cartoons or that I read, And I think he did a great job, especially in second season.
Yeah, like in episode 5, where Barry goes blind, or even on Earth 2, where the second version of himself is kind of like just this bumbling, nerded out weirdo. There's definitely a lot of layers to his acting for sure, especially when what is bitch ass name Henry when Henry Allen gets killed in towards the back half of season 2, which I can't believe that they actually went there and did that. That was something that
Yeah.
I was, as soon as Zoom captured his father and he went back to where his mom died, I was like, damn, it would be great if, they killed the character here. They don't have the balls to do that, but that'd just be a great idea. But they actually did it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But however, I really don't like this. I hate that he keeps just like jumping out of timelines to just create a new one because something went wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of
Hmm.
the season, everything was where it should be to me. Everything was as well as you could have hoped. And this fool was just like, it's not good enough. So he just runs back in time just to fix things again. And that was one thing I really did not like. I was just like, come on, man. Come on.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's one of the catalysts of season 3. Anybody that hasn't watched Justice League Flashpoint, I highly recommend you go and check that out before the episode tomorrow at 8 o'clock, or I guess CST time would be 7 o'clock, because Flashpoint embodies the consequence of what Barry's actions are. I mean, he kind of dabbled in it like the first season, but he will really see the ripple effect of what his actions are. He can't play God. Like, there is a real butterfly effect. There is a cause and reaction to everything. And I think that it could cost him somebody's life. It could cost him his powers. Who knows? It could cost all of that. And I think he's going to really get a real awakening in this one. But I'll say this, though. Every time that he does do something, he still remembers it. He remembers how the people were. It's like even trace people like Cisco when he died before, like that scene that you were talking about, and
Yeah.
then he kind of came back and he recounts that he still remembers that trauma. It still affects him and affects everybody in some dimension. Even though things change differently,
Mhm.
they still kind of feel the remnants of it, which is interesting. I guess that's why the time race come out and try to counter correct everything.
Right, yeah. That's been a big flaw for me. I really want Flash to stop muddling with timelines. Like, this dude's messed with so many timelines. It's like just insane. Like, he's about to birth like 10 new timelines just because of things that he didn't like when Cisco was sort of like literally fading from existence, or when they all got vaporized by like a gas or something. Is that what it was?
Yeah,
like gas or something like that, and he had to run back again. So I hope they like totally just remove that element from season 3, something that makes them accept, at least for next season anyway, that this timeline is, this is it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, anything else you want to add about Barry second season before we?
I mean, it's a hard line to be Barry Allen, man. Like, I mean, the dude starts off like this is love-struck dude that's trying to do the right thing, to now all this power he possesses and this ability to go back in time. It's like that episode when he needed to go back in time to get faster. You know what I'm saying? Like that.
Yeah.
That episode, I mean, that was a necessity. It wasn't a question. Like, if he hadn't have met up with Reverse Flash, he never would have been able to get to the speed that he needed to. And it's crazy is that as much as I hate him going back in time, it's like he has to own it and take the responsibility of it. So it's like if it calls into action, like when everybody blew up, like all the heroes like incinerated, yeah, that's the time when you use it. But
true, for
that last episode, I felt his emotion. I understood where he was coming from. His dad had just died, and he wanted to, feel something again. It's like his need for comfort and pleasure, but you can't, it plays with everybody else's life, and I think that he didn't take that in consideration, especially the woman of his dreams, Iris, professing her love and undying devotion to him, for this ninja to leave and change everything.
I was so mad. I don't know about anyone else, but I was so frustrated when he went back in time again at the end. I was like, God damn it, Barry. Holy shit. That brings me to another point. The cop or detective, whatever, that he was romantically involved with, was her name Patty? Is that right?
Yeah, Patty.
Yeah. Like, he had a good thing going with this chick. I thought she was a cool chick. She wanted to work with Joe West to take down the mutants or whatever of the city, but I thought she was a cool chick. The way that they sort of fizzled out, I was just like, man, like, come on. Like, she was like, oh, just tell me you're the Flash, I know, and he was like, I can't. I was just, come on, man, really? Yeah. Dirty bastard. Any quick thoughts about her character, by the way? I think we real briefly brushed on her before. I
think that she really does pattern after Barry. You know what I'm saying? Like, they are like two peas in the pod. They've worked so well together, but relationally and long term, a lot of times people that are exactly alike don't last the stand of time. I think that what's a better segue is to see what's the differences with Iris and Barry versus with Patty. Because I like Perry. I think she was smart. She wanted to be what he was. She wanted to be devoted to him. But there's some part of him that just couldn't get everything he needed from her. Like, at the end of the day, like, I think he really did love Patty. But I think it's a totally different love for Iris. And for me, Iris this season, she really stepped up.
I guess that's probably a good segue into old Iris West, who it's weird sometimes, especially in season 1. I was like, man, maybe they shouldn't be together. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, to have loved a chick that long, it's like, holy shit, maybe you should find something else. But no, I thought she was interesting this season. I mean, the main thing that comes to mind is her on Earth 2, like this other version of her on Earth 2 was really interesting to see, for sure. That was cool, actually. Like, her being, like, all, like, they've already been romantically involved for a long time, and she, I guess she was a cop or a detective or something?
Yeah, she was a detective, whereas her dad was just a singer.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because he had no relationship with Barry, but she, like, Bear was kind of like this jerk kind of guy that was a geek, and so it was interesting. But she just still devoted to him in a second world and in an alternate reality. So Iris has seen the future that shows them married, and then in the whole alternate universe they were still together. So she was faced with this realization that, saying like, this might be my real soulmate. Like, I want to make that clear to him that I want to do the same thing, or maybe I'm open to it, which I thought was interesting from her progression from the first season. Because the first season, I was kind of like, Iris, all right, so you want to get in the middle of his relationship, but then you don't want to let him know how you feel, versus this season where every episode in some capacity, she really elevates Barry as a man and as a hero. Like, she is his biggest fan. And at the same time, at the end of the night, she is his best friend too. And like, I'm trying to think of anybody else that I would consider to be his best friend. It would actually be Iris over Cisco, which is weird to think about, but that's the way I see it. And that's even more devotion in the long term for their relationship.
Yeah, they need to just go ahead and pop off them chocolate babies, but or mixed babies, I should say. But what was I gonna say? Oh, favorite moment with Iris West. The main thing that comes to mind for her for season 2 is when I think Barry is on Earth 2 and he meets up with Eddie, and he asks Eddie to like, hey, can you say something, a little something to the cell phone, and then when he gets back to Earth 1, he like shows that footage to Iris, and I thought that was just some deep shit, I would say that was actually one of my favorite moments just of the season, There's just a lot of that was just deep to me. I was like, damn. Especially in that moment, that was one of the first times where I was like, damn, Eddie was actually a pretty cool guy. He was a pretty cool character now that I think about him in hindsight. When he was like on the show a lot, I was like, he's kind of whatever. He's inevitably gonna phase out. I mean, but your thoughts on that moment?
No, I thought that was a really beautiful moment, and I think that it showed two different things. It showed, one, Iris knowing that she needed to move on from Eddie. Two, it showed Barry's undeniable love and devotion for her, in spite of, because she could have redeveloped all those feelings and refortified them, but he cared more about her progressing through life than himself and his ego. And then Eddie was able to have that moment of clarity of talking about Iris, even though his impending death was coming. Because the thing about Eddie, at the end of the day, I liked at the end of the season, the first season, how Eddie was like, I don't want to be with you, Iris, because it's not right. And it's not just because, like, I want you, but you have feelings for somebody else that you can't talk about. And then he sacrificed himself for everyone. At the end of the day, like, he was the singularity that stopped Zoom. So if it hadn't have been for Eddie, things would have been different. Like, so, I don't know. I really did appreciate that moment, specifically in the season.
Yeah, and I was going to switch to Cisco really quick, but there was one thing you were saying before in another timeline about the phone and Earth 2. Can you elaborate on that again for a second?
So, let me see if I can actually pull it up. I don't know if I can pull it up. In Earth 2, Barry Allen and Iris West, they have a video phone, and it had, like, mom, dad, and then it had, like, I think the Amazon, and it had, like, something about, like, something to do to lose to Batman and Superman. It was like the Trinity in some kind of form were on that phone. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it didn't make sense to me. Maybe Iris having that on speed dial, having them on speed dial. But I don't know. I thought it was freaking dope how they actually did that. Let me see if I can find that.
Yeah, because first off, I do not think that I caught what you're talking about at all. But that sounds pretty incredible, though. I feel like I vaguely remember what you're talking about, but no, I think I totally missed it.
Okay, so this is what it shows. I don't know if I can switch my camera or not. I'll try.
I don't know.
I don't know if I can, but I'll read it off for y'all. What it says is, and I'll send you the picture, Jor-El. It says, Dad, Mom and Dad, Eddie, Bruce, Hal, and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce, Hal Jordan,
Yeah.
Diana Prince, and I was like, "Why was? What is going on here?" So I thought that was dope.
Are we gonna
Yeah.
see a TV show, a TV version of Justice League alongside with the cinematic Justice League? That would be interesting.
And that was one thing that we had talked about before is that I would actually hope that they would do that because eventually Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, eventually it's going to get to a point it's like, man, why can't they just be on there all the time? Because these crossovers is showing a lot of good progression as far as volume is concerned. And eventually, like kind of like with the Netflix series, like going down to Defenders, I think that they can have the same opportunity with this. They got a lot of legs that they can do with it. There's a lot of different layers they can pull behind the DC universe that they can't do with the DC cinematic universe right now. So why not? So
Okay.
I say they should go for it, honestly.
And this is what he was talking about. I don't know how well I guess we're able to see that, but that's the picture, motherfuckers. Okay.
Hold on.
Which that is pretty cool. Oh shit. This nigga done left me. Alright, so what do I want to switch to? First off, there was a sequence where Earth 2 Harrison Wells referenced Kanye West, a quote from Kanye West, which just put a smile on my heart. Also, there was this sequence where Cisco and Caitlyn were like taking shots and dancing in the club. Amazing. Actually, let's talk about Cisco for a second. Love the character, but why can't Cisco and Caitlyn get together? Why does that not happen? I'm not even saying like it needs to be like a long-term thing. Like, how are they not hooked up? Like, what?
I think that one thing that I actually do say, and some people hate Gotham, but I like Gotham because it doesn't stick to canon so much that it doesn't exploit the opportunity of using characters in ways that they never could be in the comics. And like you would never see certain characters do certain things together, but for some reason with the CW, they try to stick to canon, they try to stick to the mythology, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But it kind of relieves the opportunity to something like that. That's something that could have easily happened like season 1 or season 2. But I think they're playing with the idea of like, because there was a moment where Caitlyn kind of liked Barry, you know, and I thought that was really interesting. But I think really because it's not canon, and Killer Frost is supposed to be devoted to, you know, Ronnie or Firestorm. And
True.
I mean, but what version of Caitlyn we get is going to be totally different come the 3rd season, because we got to see in that one episode where Zoom kidnapped Caitlyn, where she was kind of like talking with her other doppelganger, who was Killer Frost, about their mom. And I was like, these are the same people, it's just different circumstance. So what circumstance from Flashpoint is going to push her this other way? Are they going to cross-merge? Are they going to be some kind of version where it's them together? You know, I don't really know, but her character has so much possibility that she's being underutilized. I think she was kind of underutilized a little bit in the 2nd season, but towards the end, when you start dealing with her emotional turmoil from being connected with, you know, Jay, or what they thought was Jay, just to find out that he was Zoom. It messed them up.
Yeah, we need to get to Zoom. As far as Caitlyn goes, that was the main thing I wanted to mention. I wish that I ship Cisco and Caitlyn real quick. Cisco, the only thing that comes to mind about him is every time it was cool they had the fucking vibe powers, but every time he would vibe, it looked like he was having like a sexual experience every single time he vibed. Like he was having literal orgasms every single time that this motherfucker vibed. It was so weird. And I feel like I'm the only person who thought about that whilst watching the show. Because every time he vibed, he'd be like, I fucking I mean, when we got towards the end of the season, it wasn't so bad, you know. It was kind of like he was sort of handicapped. It's all right, but yeah, that's what I thought. I think you had mentioned that you caught that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, it was very strange. at first I understood because, you know what I'm saying, like, he feels anxiety and then it triggers it.
Yeah.
But I think moving forward, though, when I think about him going through this metamorphosis as being a hero, when he starts pulling with his dynamics of what his ideals are, the reason why he doesn't want to progress himself as hero is because he worries he's going to exploit it. He worries he's going to become something different. He worries like people gonna look at him as a freak. You know, all these different kind of things pull to Cisco, who's such a a good part of the levity of the show.
Yeah.
You know, but yet it adds layers to his character, and I think that now going and looking at how he is on season 3, it's just like a whole different character. And we talked about the idea whether or not he's gonna have powers or not. I think eventually he's gonna have powers again later, because the timelines are going to shift again. But it's going to be interesting to see how this actor is going to play with this character, because now he's kind of like a billionaire jerk, but yet still has a heart.
Yeah.
It's going to be kind of like the small, weird version of Harrison Wells and Cisco Ramon put together, I guess.
Yeah, which is probably a good segue into Earth 2 version of Harrison Wells. First off, the actor, Tom, is easily by far my favorite actor on both season 1 and 2. I think he's just incredible. And what's so weird is that even though he's like playing like this Earth 2 Harrison Wells, and the main difference is like his haircut's a little bit different. I can't figure it out. Something about his haircut's a little bit different. And like he can walk around now, but somehow he has these little nuances and subtleties, and it makes him feel different from the past Wells to me. You know?
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
No. What is his name? Is it Tom? What is his name?
I don't. I'm not sure how to say his last name correctly, so I was like, I'm going to avoid that shit.
Yeah, the actor does an amazing job. I mean, for him to be able to go and play the evil side with the Reverse Flash, and then going and playing the normal side of Harrison Wells, and then playing a whole different alternative version of Earth 2. I mean, he's just talented, man. And I think the only reason why they kept him on for the second season is because he was so talented. Because he could have just kind of been like, all right, this is just a nice Harrison Wells. No, they were able to play with this so much because of his just raw ability to be able to bring you in, And I think that his character goes through this interesting phase too, where he's just like a renegade. He reminds me of like Kyle Reese, basically. Kyle Reese came back and he was like, "Yeah, I need to stop all this timeline from happening, or stop this," And then he gets this understanding of how to be better dad, how to be a better human being. Because he was a cutthroat. He killed a couple people. He didn't give a flip.
Yeah,
he almost killed Barry.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting when I should just call him Harry, but the second version of Harrison Wells, when he was siphoning off the Speed Force from Barry, and he actually told Barry that he was doing this. That was really unexpected. I didn't think he was going to do that. I think literally, I thought that Flash was just going to be devoid of his powers, and then Harrison was going to be like. So that was actually really surprising. And I don't even think we asked this last time, but did you have a favorite actor from season 1 and 2?
Let's see, favorite actor. Shoot, I think that season 1, I would give it to Harrison Wells, or Tom. Start with a C. I can't remember his name, but I would give Grant Gustin for season 2, just because Grant goes through so much in a short amount of time. It really is a long amount of time, but it's really a short in the terms of the actual show. Because every single episode, things are happening to Barry Allen, and they're happening very fast. There's nothing he can do about it. He just literally has to brace himself. It's weird because he is the Flash, but I feel him bracing himself more than anything than trying to move forward. And it was like, I think that episode where he got engulfed into the Speed Force and he was just kind of there. I got to see like this man deal with his grief. I got to see him deal with like the process of his happiness and the cost of it. and then at the same time, is he willing to make that ultimate sacrifice? And then his connection to Iris, because Iris is the one that got him out of it. And I was like, I loved Grant in this episode, and we'll talk a little bit later on, I guess, about the season finale, because that messed me up. Like what Zoom has done. Oh my gosh!
I was just about to say we should switch to Zoom for sure, because I think, fuck it, I actually don't know which episode it was. I thought it was episode 6, but I'm probably dead wrong. But either way, whichever episode where Zoom and Flash, they fight for the first time, and Zoom like literally beats Flash beats him into just knocks him unconscious, and then just drags his limp body across the city, showing his body to people. That's one of my favorite moments from the show. I couldn't believe that they went there, because as you guys know, I really don't fuck with CW. But that was great that they actually got that dark. I was surprised. It was almost like a Batman and Bane moment, Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, because he literally paralyzed Barry. Well, I mean, no, rephrase that. This man, this is something I didn't talk about in our first video. Oh, Zoom is so calculative because he taught Barry how to throw lightning, right? He taught him how to throw lightning. He was trying to play around like, man, I'm losing my powers. Like, I don't know. I can't, for a long time, he didn't use his powers. He was like, man, I want to help you, but I kind of can't, and then, like, when they squared off, like, Barry, unbeknownst to Barry, Jay was Zoom. And so he trained him just to make him look like a fool. He said that threw that lightning at man. This man turned it, threw it back at him.
Yeah.
And just beat the brakes off of him.
Yeah.
Drugged his body around, paralyzed, used the drug they were going to use on him, and then just flaunted him in front of the police station and just like, what are y'all going to do with your savior? I was like, that's a bad man. That's a bad man right there.
Yeah, there was also a great moment, I still can't even remember the words, but when Zoom was on top of like a skyscraper, and in the distance there was like these words that were like etched into the side of a building that were like a flame. Bruh, this shit was dope as hell. This is probably a good time to go into Earth 2, because I'm not too familiar with the Flash lore, believe it or not. And just the build-up and execution of the audience seeing Earth 2, I thought was hugely exciting. I thought it was completely on point. Like, they just knocked it out of the park. It was like going to Tomorrowland or some shit, or Jurassic World. Like, it was just dope, seeing the differences between our Earth and theirs, especially from like a technological standpoint. That was cool. Like, it felt old-fashioned. It was like much more advanced technology with an old-fashioned look from Earth 1, So I thought that was really interesting. And obviously seeing, like Killer Frost and stuff like that. But thoughts on Earth 2?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I think the anticipation for Earth 2 is what laid the great platform for it.
Yeah.
Because it was like talks about it, and Harrison was saying like it's so different. I was like, I didn't understand what he meant. And it was like, Earth 2 is kind of like the comic book form of reality. Just from how technology is better, but yet it looks old-fashioned. How people are so much more charismatic and nice, but yet the villains are worse. Because Zoom was from there. So I was like, man, that's so strange of a parallel. But I thought that everything they did with Earth 2 and the villains that came from Earth 2, and then the doppelganger stuff that kind of was parallel with everybody. Because, I mean, Cisco's doppelganger, Caitlin's doppelganger, and John, I forgot his name, Ronnie, who was like the dark version. I mean, all of their characters were done so well. Specifically Cisco's, because that was how Cisco was able to understand the depths of his powers and what his true capabilities was. And then, I don't know, like, Zoom just rules all that. Like, he rules all of them. And I didn't understand, how much weight Zoom pulled until we went to Earth 2, really.
Yeah, Zoom was super dope. Especially, like, how he looks, literally, was just perfect. It was super sick. The voice. What were you saying about his voice before? Zoom.
So the guy that plays Candyman, he's the one that actually does the voice of Zoom when he has his mask on.
Okay.
And so the guy that plays Jay, he when he goes back and forth, that's why you hear like this weird kind of voice versus his. Yeah. But I mean, the actor does a good job. I mean, like he had me fooled. I think I was one of the first ones that kind of predicted, like, you know what? Like, did he really kill Jay? Because I was like, it was so weird that Jay was so close to Zoom just to sit there and die. But then I was like, oh my gosh, did he kill a remnant of himself? And sure enough, he killed a remnant of himself just to fake out everybody into thinking that he wasn't Zoom. I was like, that's genius, man.
Yeah, it was. I did not see it coming. I did see when the remnant was killed by Zoom. I saw that coming from a mile away, which is funny because they totally duped my ass. I didn't know that he was Zoom. So hey, it's yeah. The show was pretty good with their secrets for sure, but it's a little bit different for me because I've just been binge watching season 1 and 2 for the first time, so I'm not sure what it's like watching this on a weekly basis and looking at people's theories and shit. But yeah, the Earth 2 stuff was great. Zoom, I'm trying to think if there's anything else with Zoom that I thought was really dope. Him in the finale was super sick. When what was Zoom trying to do when they were racing each other? They were trying to kickstart something.
So essentially, it's kind of like a Final Crisis situation.
Yeah.
If Barry lost and Zoom was able to cycle around and get enough energy output, it would have imploded everything. It was like basically the universes would have compounded on himself.
Oh, okay.
And if Barry was able to stop him, then he won the race. Mm-hmm. But that was a pivotal scene because Barry made the selfless act of creating a remnant of himself that was willing to die just so he could stop him. Yeah. So the Final Crisis situation actually did happen. And it was like, was that the Barry that we knew from this timeline, or was this the other one? We don't know. All we knew is that one of the Barrys actually really did die and sacrifice himself.
Yeah. That just blew my mind a little bit.
It reminded me of, was it The Prestige?
Yes.
It reminded me of a situation like that.
Yeah, The Prestige, Christopher Nolan, one of my favorites. Where are we at time-wise, by the way?
Oh, we're up. I mean, that's it. I mean, we just hit the 1 minute.
Oh, do we? Okay. Well, I was gonna get, because we didn't bring up when Barry, I guess his spirit went to the Speed Force, literally, the Speed Force realm. That was interesting. I guess his soul. I don't know, actually. Does anyone know? Is that what happened? His soul just straight up just got sucked into the. I mean, I guess you could argue maybe he just transcended reality, but even. Fuck. But.
I don't know, because I mean the thing is, when that happened to him, he wasn't the Flash then. He was just normal. He didn't have his powers, because that was one of the things that we had talked about before, y'all. We were talking about what was one of our favorite sequences, and that was one of my favorite sequences.
Yeah. In
this season is everybody was rallying behind him. He was like, "Are you sure you want to do this?" I was like, "I love you," no matter what. And Barry was determined, he was gonna get his powers.
Yeah.
And he sat there, he believed that he was gonna get them, and all of a sudden, you just start seeing him destroyed in front of our eyes, and everybody was like, "Flip! What happened?"
And just to be clear, I couldn't tell if he had just simply teleported to that place, or if his his soul or something was sent there. You know what I'm saying? Or maybe he was teleported, I suppose.
I don't think he was teleported, because there were remnants of him that hit Wally and Jesse. That's why they fell down.
Right.
So whatever essence was him, it was gone. And it just dissipated and evaporated away. Mm. So I don't know if he became one with the Speed Force, or if he blew up into it. But either way, he found his way connected to it, and that was a really interesting dynamic. With the Speed Force kind of talking with him and talking about the dynamics behind that.
favorite moment there was Joe West as the Speed Force when he was saying that we were there at the beginning of time and we'll be there like when like the last atoms or photons go out. I was like, good God, but that shit was eerie as fuck. What else is there to jump to? The CGI was got a huge upgrade. Someone paid the CGI bills big time. Like, because King Shark was in this bitch, and I loved every second of it. It made no sense, but it was amazing. Which is weird because I didn't really like that telekinetic gorilla, Grodd? Is that right? Grodd? I think I said Grode in my first review, but Grodd. I really didn't like him in the first season. CGI was terrible, and I just couldn't get behind a giant telekinetic monkey or telepathic monkey, whatever. This season, he was a little bit more manageable because he just looked better, but I just King Shark, man. Like, they actually did that shit. Like, Kevin Smith was talking about that at Comic-Con, right? San Diego. I just can't believe they did that. It was just nuts. The King Shark looked amazing.
Yeah, no, the CG on this episode was amazing. I mean, from the very first episode of freaking Barry using like small different things in the air to travel around this tornado that was still moving. I mean, it's amazing. We never would have thought we would see a King Shark. We never thought we would see a Gorilla Grodd. But I think that one of the best moments, like I said, is the last episode when Barry just kind of loses it on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And like they just start fighting. And I was like, this is amazing. I mean, even the first fight with them was good, but everything about the show keeps on excelling and moving, and where they had weaknesses here, now there's a strength, and where they had the same thing keeps on going on. But I think they're doing a great job as far as the CG.
Yeah, I think we've kind of gone through most of the main characters, so I guess we could just skip to favorite moments from the season 2. Favorite moments for me are, I can't really pinpoint just like a favorite moment, but I have 2 from season 2. It was when Zoom beats the hell out of Flash when they first meet. Thought that was that literally almost knocked me out of my seat. I was like, I can't believe they did that. And also, maybe just my favorite moment possibly is Flash forgiving Harrison Wells. I thought that was just incredible, like, that was just an incredible thing to do. You know what I'm saying? I don't even know if I could have done that. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Given the things that this fool did, especially like being like a mentor and then like betrayal and then like, oh, by the way, I killed your mom. Like, I just thought that was huge. And I thought that was a great seed to like throw into the audience. But those are my 2 favorite moments from season 2. What about you?
Yeah, ironically, my 2 favorite moments are the saddest moments of the season. And one I've already talked about because I think it was the build-up. The build-up is like they had me rallying behind the idea of this working out. And it just didn't, And I was talking about the one where Barry had no powers and everybody was trying to get him, powers by any means necessary. And he died from it. And like you got to feel their loss. It wasn't until the next episode I kind of felt okay because the way that they did it was like, man, I'm looking at a Game of Thrones episode. Man, somebody just died. Flip. I can't believe CW did this. But even with Henry Allen's death, everybody before was like all good and talking, and Barry had just had this awesome conversation with him. And all of a sudden, Zoom shows up, and I was like, okay, man, he's going to hurt his dad, or he's going to take his dad hostage. No. Nah. This man murders his dad in front of him. Yeah. And we get to see that at the end of the episode, but then the beginning, it kicks right off. You get to see him just gush. And it's almost like he was no longer the Barry Allen that we knew. And I think even the episode, the decisions that he made came about from what Zoom did. It's like he became void of emotion because not only he had lost his mom, but now he lost his other tie to his dad. And I don't know. It was so excellently executed, and I applaud the writers for taking that chance and doing it. It won a lot of people over from those kind of things that they did in this season, honestly.
Yeah, that was dope. That was your favorite
Yeah, those are
moment?
my two.
Those
Those are my
two?
two favorites.
Okay. And ratings wise, season 1 I gave an 8 out of 10, and ironically, season 2 I gave an 8 out of 10. I didn't think that one was better than the other per se. I thought that they were equivalent to each other. There's things that I really love about both seasons. But yeah, so I think they're both 8s. And for you, season 1 and 2 rating?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I definitely gave season 1 a 9 out of 10. It excelled my expectations because I was sitting there. I looked at the first episode. I was like, man, this was actually pretty good, you know. And then like they just kept on going, and I was like, even with the bad episodes, like there was something there that kept me wanting to watch more. I cared about these characters, you know what I'm saying? So the second season, I mean, adding on characters like Wally West, who ended up, you know, fitting in very well. I thought he did a good job as far as his character and building off this platform of respecting Flash and wanted to make amends and do something for the city. Jesse Quick being like Harrison Wells' daughter and her being kidnapped by Zoom, like her peril initially when you first seen her to her being a strong, smart character progressively. I mean, it's just like the small characters and the big characters, they continue to raise the bar and add character development. And I really like the second season. I gave it a 9 out of 10 as well. I dare say I would probably give it a 9.5 out of 10 if Barry made such a stupid mistake with freaking Iris. I mean, the girl was like, he was there, and he just like, nah, I want to change everything.
Well, his dad got murdered, but like, she was like, I'll wait for you, and he was like, I don't know when I'm gonna be whole again, and then this fool just runs back in time to change it again. So they need to stop that shit. Like, there needs to be like, he needs to stop. Even though I was saying before that I would love for him to like run so far into the future that like we're in like the 50th century and we see that one group. I think they're called Legion, right?
Yeah, the Legion of Superheroes. I think that would be dope.
Which I can't remember who the fuck was all involved in that. This is some crazy generational shit, but saying something like that would blow my brains out. Didn't you say there was a Legion ring or something? And
so, like, in the first season, when Barry is going through time, like, he actually controlled it, you get to see small glimpses of, like, Killer Frost. You saw, like, a glimpse of, like, Barry Allen in prison. You saw another glimpse of, like, what it looked to be a Legion ring. And then I think you saw a clip of Supergirl. And
oh, shit.
All that was in the season finale when he was going back in time, and I was like, "Okay, this is dope. Let's do this. Come on." So
yeah, and
it's definitely a strong possibility.
That would be dope. But shit, yeah. As far as season 3 goes, which comes out tomorrow. Jesus, season 3. I just hope that they just go nuts with it. You know, put Supergirl in there. Even though I really don't like her show. Or just put Superman in there. Hell, put Batman in this bitch. Alright? Like, really, just go all out. Stop Barry from going back in time, because I'm getting sick of him messing up timelines. It's getting ridiculous. Shit. Is there anything else I'd like to see from season 3? I think that's about it, I suppose. Nothing else really comes to mind. And hopefully this new timeline is satisfying. Seems like something we're going to be stuck with for a while now. So, great job, Barry. But I hope it's satisfying. Hopefully.
Yeah, same thing I'm thinking. I mean, I think for me, anticipation for season 3, I think it's going to be lit. I mean, they've already showed us glimpses of like a kid Flash and Wally actually becoming the Flash.
Ooh, yeah,
and their backstory, you know what I'm saying, Wally West and what happens to Barry, like that in and of itself is going to be an amazing arc if they ever do that. I don't think they'd ever have the balls of killing Barry Allen, but if they ever did, oh my gosh, that's a whole other thing. But for me, knowing Flashpoint, like I said, y'all need to check out Justice League Flashpoint so you know the ramifications. If they stick to their guns and show a real change in the universe, the different universes that start compacting into themselves, I think that would be my biggest constraint, and they not hold back on that.
Whoa!
Like they allow anybody or anything to come in.
Wait, you just blew my mind. You're talking about like multiverses are gonna become one?
You need to watch Flashpoint.
I think you just melted my brain. But you're talking what? I think I've seen Flashpoint, but it was probably a really long time ago, and I probably had a cup of gin or something. But which is probably a bad idea. But this is a long time ago, people. Shit, I forgot what I was gonna say. But wow, you just lost me on that one. I don't even know how the fuck that would work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's been the biggest thing that's pissed me off about him going. To me, the only timeline that matters is the one that he's most in. You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, the previous timeline where his dad got killed, well, it's all nice and dandy, but if he's just spending 15 episodes in this brand new one, and he never goes back to that one, you know what I'm saying? It kind of makes it's
but this is the thing, though. This is the thing, and nobody talks about this, and I don't even spend time to do it on my reviews at all. But the very first episode, the Flash that we know from the comics is not who Barry Allen is. Harrison Wells created that version of the Flash. The very first timeline where Barry just normally and naturally gets the actual like chemical compound at the right time and gets struck by lightning that Harrison Wells didn't create is not the one that Barry Allen is living in. His mom wasn't supposed to die. The only reason why his mom died is because Reverse Flash went back and killed her. He was supposed to be the Flash anyway, but Harrison Wells wanted to speed up the progress, so we don't even have the original Flash. The only time we ever have seen the very first original Flash is when we go back in time when his mom is killed. So nobody knows what that initial timeline was. So at a certain point, I feel like that's why I said that there's going to be a compacting of all that. Especially if Barry has to go back and stop himself from stopping the Reverse Flash from killing his mom. And that's the thing, because that's what's going to have to happen. He's going to have to.
What? Well, I mean, he already saved his mom and dad, you know what I'm saying?
No. What I'm saying is that if he goes back to that point in time to stop himself from stopping Zoom, then the timeline will shift back, but it'll still be different because these two Flashes can't exist at the same time. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to be really trippy because he's messing with stuff that he can't. I'm already saying too much. You need to just watch Flashpoint. I'm going to leave it at that.
Okay, yeah, we're going to have to wrap this up because, like, well, first off, we've run out of time. And I think you literally just melted my brain. If some of you bastards know where there's like some diagrams showcasing just how bad he's just fucked up time, I would love to look at them. Straight up. Some of you nerdy bastards have made them. But anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that word vomit. We're gonna get the hell out of here. Any final words? Final thoughts?
Yeah, man. I definitely am hyped for season 3. I'm gonna try to do reviews for each one. I don't know if I'm gonna do reactions because CW is kind of picky about stuff like that, but maybe we can go and try to do some discussions. I'm not sure when, but yeah, y'all stay tuned for a lot more Flash stuff. Yeah,
this video might come after the season 3 premiere, so maybe I fucked up my own timeline, which is highly possible. This was recorded just the day before, but yeah, compacting multiverses. That's going to eat me alive. But anyways, we're about to peace out, and let us know your thoughts down below. Peace.